Hello and welcome to this class. Today I'll be talking about complete CI/CD with Kubernetes and ArgoCD. First of all, I'm going to do an explanation of the process. We're going to be doing a CI/CD. Okay, let me get this ready. So it's going to be shared into three modules. The first one, we're going to be explaining getting our codes ready, and we have two GitHub repo. The first is for the application, while the second is for the GitHub repo. And okay, so here in the module one, we're going to set up the application repo as well as the GitHub repo. What we're going to be doing here is that um, it's going to be the CI, the continuous integration, which means that whenever a code is made to your code base, that needs to trigger some sort of automated build. Our application repository has a web application that we are going to make changes to. The CI parts of our pipeline will live there. Okay, as soon as we make changes to it, that will trigger an automated build in such a way that it will repackage all those codes into a Docker image, store that image in a container registry. Okay, it will store it in a container registry, and update the GitHub repository to link to that new image. Now, the second part is the GitOps part, which we're going to be doing our CD, continuous deployment. Okay, so the CD part of the pipeline happens when you update the GitOps repository, such that when we update to point to the new image, ArgoCD is going to monitor the GitHub repository and automatically redeploy all of the Kubernetes manifests inside of the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in this first module, and in the second module, which is, let me go down. Okay, so in the second module, we're going to, you see, when we push our code, it will build an image and it will push it to the container registry in the GitHub. Okay, so we build first piece of the pipeline. We will configure GitOps to build images automatically and deploy them to the container registry. Okay, you can see it here. And as soon as we make any code change to the main application, it will reflect. Okay, now in the third module, we're going to be setting up ArgoCD. Okay, when we detect a new change in the GitOps repo, that is the deployment here. When there's a change in the deployment, we point to a new image in the container registry that changed the image. That will trigger ArgoCD to deploy all of the Kubernetes resources that are different from the previous deployments. Okay, so I think, should we talk about module 4? Let us get to work right now and let's build. So the first thing you need, Docker desktop. Okay, I have mine up and running. You need Docker desktop. All you need to do in your Docker desktop is that you go to settings, you go to Kubernetes, and you enable Kubernetes. That's all you need. Okay, okay, so let us get to work. Okay, so you have Docker desktop. We are good to go. And the first thing I want you to do, or the next thing I want you to do, I want you to set permissions. Okay, so let us go to settings, and we go to developer settings. And I think you know how to create personal access tokens already. You can go ahead and create two tokens. Okay, we need two tokens. So just a few explanation. You need to create two tokens. First token, let us call it container registry access. Okay, and I need to explain to you why we need tokens. We need to give the pipeline the permission it needs in order to run. It relies on how the personal access token in order to work. First, we're calling it container access token. Okay, and the next will be GitHub access token. It is good to give it a name that is expressive. So when you read the name, you can tell that this is for container registry access. Okay. Okay. So what permission are we giving it? We're giving it repo, workflow, and write package. And you can see we need full control of the repository. Second, workflow. We need workflow to update GitHub Actions workflow. And if you see there, we need to update package on GitHubs, and that's one of the reasons why we need it. And you are good to go. Generate token. And when you generate a token, make sure you copy and paste the secret. Okay, you're going to do that for the next. The next is GitOps. I'm not creating again because I've already created. Okay, so GitOps registry, and all you need is just this, is just the repo. Okay, and you go ahead, create, and you save the secret key. Then when you're done, you go to the repo. Okay, this is the repo we're using. You go to this repo and then you go to settings, you go to actions, you, okay, not actions. You go to security, secrets and variables. You go to actions here and you new repository secrets. Okay, I created these two. You need to name them. The first that you saved, the first was for container access token, that is CR. You create new, you name it CR underscore path, you paste the secret in here, whatever the secret is, and you do the same for the other. The reason is that this is written in the codes already. Okay, so you're naming it secret paths, you get the name right because that is the secret our pipeline is referencing. Okay, now why do you need these CR tokens? These tokens provide, let me show you in the code. um Here, let me go here, go to workflow. So you can see there are two secrets. This is the first secret for container registry, and the second, where is the second secret? This is it for Git token. Okay, so the container registry secret, this token provides the pipeline with the permission that it needs to package all of those codes. It's going to package all of the codes here, okay, inside of this repo. Is going to package it inside this SRC. Oh, my recorder is stopping me. And inside the Docker image and push into a container registry. So the token we gave this pipeline, we give it permission within the scope of the repository, within the scope of the GitHub action workflow, and within the scope of the packaging. So you can see why we had to pick those permissions when creating the secret key. Okay, and okay, and pushing into the registry. So it's going to push into the registry. Now, the second token we created is the GitHub token, GitHub access token. That will give the pipeline the permission that it needs to update the GitHub repository once an image has been pushed to the GitHub registry. That the deployment will point to the newest image that was pushed, process. Okay. Okay, so I think we should go straight right away to creating a workflow. Okay, so which am I? So I gave you two repositories that we're working with, as I explained earlier on. This is the second. This is the first Kubernetes CI tutorial. Why this is the second great API GitOps. Okay, so we're doing our configuration for our CD here. Where we need to go to now is settings. We're creating a runner, so create a runner, self-hosted runner. We're hosting it on our system and not on a GitHub server. We're using our system, and I guess your system is Windows x64. You should choose which. And okay, let us start. Okay, this should take some minutes. If it's gonna be too long, I'm gonna pause it. This should start downloading the zip. Okay, it's downloading it. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video until this download is completed. Okay, the download is over. Let's move to the next step. Okay, this is optional. Let us extract the zip file. That should be done in a second. And let us configure. Okay, configuration. We're not giving any name, we just need to leave it as default. Enter, 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 and we're ready. Last command, we run. Okay, when we run, it starts listing for a job. That's what we should expect. It's a listing connected to GitHub, sorry, and it's listening for jobs. So now we go here. If we refresh, okay, we can find a self-hosted is idle. We go to actions. These are previous. Okay, we just need to try to make a change to the code. We don't need this again. Let me leave here. can go to app.js. I can make any change. Let me add a dot here. Okay. Just a change, commit, and that is it. Okay. Go to actions. You made a change and it has triggered it. You don't push. If you come back here, you'll see it. Running job, you don't push. Click on it and see the processes. Setting up the job. That should not take time. You see it's downloading the repository. Okay, past that is checking out the code. Okay, I may have to pause the video for you to run through this process. It's going to take maybe 5 minutes to get completed. If there's an issue, we're going to troubleshoot, but I've done that in previous stages. So I guess we're not going to have any issues. The code check was successful. Okay, so it's logging into the container registry. I think the first time I used this was 5 years ago. This is not good that I'm being signed out. I need to try to sign back in because without that it wouldn't connect. Okay, I'm signed back in. Verifying. Okay. Logging into GitHub container registry was successful. Is setting up a Docker build. It should not take time. I think it will take time here. Build and push image. That's where it will take the most time. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video and come back when all is done. Okay, so everything is almost done. It just passed those different stages. And if you update, change all the username. So I think I need to explain this. Um, Deployment.yml in the second repository for the GitOps, you need to change the username to your username. Okay, in line 20, you need to change it. OpenCloud is my username. Okay, now in the first repository, why is it signing out again? Okay, in the second workflow, the first repository, sorry, in workflow CI/CD, you need to change the username again twice. First time, okay, I need to proceed to Docker Desktop. Okay, it's logging in. Okay, that's signed in. I think that has been fixed and this is okay. Everything looks great. Okay, everything completed. So here you need to change it twice. Line 42, you change my username to your username. You edit from here, right? And 58, line 58, you change to your username. Okay, so that's the three places you need to change. So we are good to go. We have our code. The process went smoothly. You see, I see the process. And now what we need to do is, let me go back up. Now we need to install ArgoCD. Okay, so we are how we're going to run this. We're going to run on PowerShell. Okay, clear. And we're running on PowerShell. Like I said, you need Docker Desktop. The moment you explain, enable Kubernetes installs on your system. Okay, so run the first command. and if you check, it shows our build was successful. Okay, you can see it here, successful. Okay, so back, we run the first command. That's because I've done this before. You're not gonna get this. Okay, yeah, running this for the first time, you're not gonna get this. Let me just go through it. I know you're not gonna get, you're gonna get a different result. Happy, okay, it worked well, and there's already a namespace. There's no need to create a namespace, but let me just do it for you to see. Create a namespace, ArgoCD, which we already have, it already exists. And so there's no need to run this last command. So what I do is, okay, let me just do it. Okay, it's already in use, we can reuse it. Okay, so let us, not here, and you can see these are our pods and they are up and running. And in order to access ArgoCD, that's what we're doing now. You need to forward to port 8080. We know we've done this in our previous classes. If it starts forwarding, okay, it's good to go. So how do we access ArgoCD? It's already in our local host. Okay, local host, oh, 1L, local host. 8080. And that is it. We have ArgoCD up and running. Remember in our previous classes, we had to go through Jenkins. We had to create an EC2 instance. We went through Jenkins, but this is different. And this is, I would say this is easier. Okay. And the username is admin. The password, to get the password, you need to run this command. So you can just stop this, run the command. Okay, that's the password, and you, okay, and you can run the forwarding again for the site to be up and active. Okay, so check to confirm that is it, sign in, and we have our ArgoCD up and running. Okay, so it shows that our application, which is here, is up and running. If you check, I would have shown you before I did this updated, this wasn't what it was before we completed this. When we completed this, an image was pushed, and if you check this, okay, that link will take you to our Docker registry, our container registry, sorry. Okay, so 9 minutes ago this was created. This is our container registry on GitOps. If you remember before, when we used AWS, we had to sign in, we had to create a container registry on AWS, but we named it demo. This is our container registry here. Okay, it was created 2 minutes ago. Now, back to it. This is our, this is just a small application, and you can see it here on ArgoCD. It says this. Oh, I've worked on this application before and it's healthy. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Let me delete this. Okay, this I created it 5 days ago. Synchronized 7 minutes ago. Let me delete it. Okay, it's deleting because I want to create a new application. So this is it. I open a folder, name it GitOps or whatever you want to name it. Then you open Visual Studio Code. Okay, I want to try to edit the application. Visual Studio Code. Let me just delete and recreate for you. Okay, so let me name it